Okay. So the 5 most common barriers can play a role in this whole scenario with the spine. If there are one of these barriers to health in play in a person's body, so the spine will come out of its normal function because of that barrier. So we have to address that barrier. Those barriers are listed on my website. They involve toxins and metals. These are toxicities in the body. They involve allergies, like food allergies. A common food allergy is dairy, but not everybody has a dairy allergy. For some people, they eat some cheese or they drink some milk, and the reflex happens not so fast, but maybe a day later. So I have a patient who comes to me and he says, you know, everything was going fine, and all of a sudden I have this back pain. And I say, well, what have you eaten differently in the last few days that you don't normally eat? He says, well, 2 days ago I had pizza. Right? And then when we're testing him, it turns out he's sensitive to dairy. Well, that dairy sensitivity, turns out it took a little time to go through the system, digest, and come out and make its effect on the body. But what it did was it made the spine shift slightly to accommodate to that stress, and then back pain. So if he comes in and I adjust him and he keeps eating this thing, we never address that, then it's going to keep coming back, and I'll have a weekly patient. Every week he'll come in, I'll adjust him every week. I think eventually he's going to get tired of that. So we want to address, well, let's address this adverse reaction from the dairy in his particular case. And we do that. We do that with a method that we have called nutrition response testing. And we find that if we're able to find the weakest links in the body and then address those and strengthen those, then it could be a week later that he no longer has an issue with dairy. And then that whole reflex going to his spine is gone, and then the adjustment holds well, and see you next month.
Right. What are the major critiques of chiropractic from outside the profession, and how do you answer them?
There are a lot of myths about chiropractic. One is that we crack bones, but this is more a layman's myth. The medical profession and other professions are not thinking that we actually crack bones, but we don't. One of the problems that the other health professions have when they look at chiropractic is they don't have the training that a chiropractor does. And because of that, their specialty is somewhere else. So their specialty may be in pain control, but it's not about neurology. Their specialty may be in looking for tumors on x-rays, but it's not in looking for mechanics. Their specialty may be in pharmaceuticals, whereas a chiropractor may have a specialty more in line with natural medicine and nutrition, using herbs and food concentrates, homeopathic remedies, this kind of thing. So when you have one profession that is, well, quite respected, making comments on a profession that they really don't know enough about because they simply don't have the training, it's not their specialty, well, you have an opinion that really is not a valid opinion. So it's like a house painter making an opinion about fine art. They both paint. It's like a computer technician making an opinion about house wiring. They're both dealing with electricity. Or it's like an auto mechanic making an opinion on straightening somebody's teeth. An auto mechanic may do front end alignment, but an orthodontist does teeth alignment. Well, they're very different. Different tools, different professions. So the problem is when one profession, without adequate knowledge in the other, makes an opinion. We just have to watch out for that.
How often do you encounter people who say, I don't believe in chiropractic? How do you respond, if at all?
Okay, well, it's a very interesting statement. Chiropractic is really not belief. It's what it is. It's not a belief system. It's a system of approaching the body that has plenty of research behind it, and making corrections in the body, and it's just a method of addressing somebody's overall health from the inside out. Many people think that things have to be done from the outside in. As a matter of fact, we are bombarded with messages in the media regarding pills to take when symptoms come up, you know. And because of that bombardment, people believe that this is normal. Well, a chiropractor believes that the problem is from the inside out, and if we address what's happening inside, be it through the nervous system and the spine or through nutrition, then the problems will disappear when the cause is addressed. That's the difference.
Right, right. So what are your websites and what's on them?
My website is wholebodycures.com. It's W-H-O-L-E, body, cures with an S. And on the website we have some articles that I've written, a list of all the 5 major categories of barriers to health, the most common. We describe what our office procedures will be like. We talk about even our fees because they're so reasonable. It's basically a place where you can go to see what it's going to be like to come under the care of somebody who is not just going to be looking at the end product of your health status, meaning the symptoms. So it's a place where you can find out how to get in touch with us and you know, the standard website stuff.
You know, I often think this is common, like have back pain or neck pain, and I think, oh, I must go see a chiropractor, I must go see my friend Barry, and then like the next day it's gone, and I go, oh good, I'm glad I didn't spend $60. What's kind of going on there? You know, with the body? You know,
yeah, so it's very similar to people who feel a toothache and then the toothache goes away and they think, oh great, don't have to go to the dentist because that's going to cost a real lot. And then about 3 months later, we got some bad news, and you go to the dentist and they say that there's a big problem. So it's very similar in the spine. So the body will react to what is happening now, and it's reacting to things from the past that may not even need to be reacting to now. So one thing accumulates, and another thing accumulates, and then you feel something, and then sure enough your body compensates for that. And then you don't feel that. And then, well, did the compensation get undone? Did we correct that compensation? Well, if you didn't come in, no. So what happens later on is that compensation builds with something else, and then, well, it's going to take a little bit longer to correct the problem. So this happens often. People will feel something and then it goes away and it tends to come back unless we do something.
I don't understand. Some days I throw out my back and I just can't move. I mean, I just have to like lie there in bed. I don't understand. Like I haven't done anything. I just like turn, you know, some way and then suddenly I don't understand. Like I'm helpless. What's going on?
Well, you know, there are a lot of things that can cause the back to feel like that. Primarily, we have 3 things that cause a problem in the back. One is